Guess the best. The best coder at uni.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to Intelligence Maxing Day 60. I'm with the best coder at UMD, Andrew Zhang. Today.
What are you?
Huh?
Oh, OBS?
OBS, yeah. Okay.
Alright, get to coding.
So today I wanted to kind of go over the portfolio management class, maybe some flashcards, and also some previous quizzes that we had. Exam is, I think, in about a week and a half, so I have around 10 days to do a bit of studying. Let's get right into it then. This is quiz 4, so I think this probably is going to talk about some topics. I want to say capital asset pricing model is one of them, just because I saw the question. Maybe something about funding liquidity, market liquidity, and then also maybe something with factor investing. So I think those are probably the 4 topics that we talked about in this quiz. So let's get into this. Let's see. You asked the star fund manager to manage your inheritance. The manager reported the monthly returns of his strategy. You run a CAPM regression of the returns. The estimated beta is 0.7 and the estimate's alpha is 0.0032. Okay, so these are monthly returns. That's why the alpha is so low. And the estimated alpha is 0.0032 from the regression. The associated t statistics. So we have 4.52, 2.45. So I think the t statistics, we want this to be high to show statistical significance. And we have a beta of 0.7, alpha of 0.0032. Both of these are higher than 2, which I think corresponds to a 0.05 p-value. So I think all of these are significant. The contract says you pay a 4% annual flat fee to the manager. Is it optimal for you to invest your money in a fund? So I think one thing to think about here is what is the kind of annual alpha that you're receiving compared to the 4% annual flat fee? I think one way we could do that is we can multiply this by 12 to just kind of find a quick estimate of the annual alpha. So let's start with that. To determine whether to invest in this fund, I should compare the annual alpha compared to the annual, with the annual flat fee. If the flat fee is higher, that means all the excess return that the manager is receiving is going back to him. Alright, so in this case, we have, let's call it alpha is equal to 0.0032. Multiply that by 12. Let's see if we can do this in our head. I don't think I can, but alright, we have 12. 3 times 12 is like 36. 2 times 12 is 24. Like 0.38 maybe, something. So I think it's probably going to be equal to 0.00384. Let's see. 0.0032 times. Okay, nice. which is less than 4.04. Because the annual alpha is less than. Wait, also, are you busy tomorrow morning?
I have an 11 a.m.
Would you wake up early? Like,
Yeah, what time? For what? Depends for what.
so there's this conference I was thinking about going to tomorrow in DC, like this AI conference.
DC?
Yeah, wait, AI conference, DC. Okay. This thing?
Looks pretty cool. What is it?
I think it's
a-
just a bunch of people coming to show off their AI techs, I guess. Let's see. So I registered. I think it's free though, so you can just press.
Wait, what time are you planning on going?
I was gonna wake up. I think it starts at 7 a.m. I was probably gonna wake up because I'm gonna go home tonight.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can wake up that early. Because
Yeah.
tonight I'm going to be up until like at least 2.
Yeah. There's no shot then.
Oh my gosh. That does sound really interesting. It's just people showing off their AI models?
Yeah, I think so. And then I don't know if have you heard of Palantir?
Who?
Palantir, like it's the company Palantir.
No.
Okay, well they're kind of like this big software AI company, and their CEO is coming to give a talk.
Oh,
I
really?
want to go listen to that, but that's at.
Record it.
It's probably not going to be that interesting.
Well,
You can probably find it on YouTube too.
for this class, actually, one of my assignments was I interviewed one of a research engineer at Google DeepMind,
That's crazy. Yeah.
because I can show you the interview. It's really cool.
Mhm.
He talks about a lot of, or actually, it probably wouldn't interest you. It's not a lot about the job. It's more like about ethical implications.
Wait, how do you even get in touch with him?
He's one of my friends.
Oh, the guy that you were telling me about. Yeah.
I just met him online. Like, he's really, really smart.
Mhm.
Very, very well spoken.
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
Let me see if I can find it.
Okay, so.
I'll
this-
email it to you.
Okay. The annual alpha is less than the annual fee. It is not optimal for me to invest in the fund. Okay, I think that's pretty good.
So I just changed it, so like 3x to 1/2, right? It's like square root of 3x is the same thing as 3x to 1/2, right? So I just did 3x to 1/2 minus y. So what the x squared minus 2x. But how about you do it and we'll compare it?
I actually don't know if I have it
Okay,
on this
that's
computer.
fine.
I'll email it to you when I get home. It's really cool.
Okay.
How do I not have it though? Hold on. There's no way I didn't like email it to myself.
The regression of unknown managers. Right, so this question seems like it does have to do with the factor returns. And so we have 4 different factors here actually. So small minus big, high minus low, the up minus down, which is the momentum factor, and the beta. So this is the market factor. What is the benchmark portfolio implied by the 4-factor model? That is described portfolio representing $1 of capital allocation between 4 factor portfolios. Okay.
What I did was I just did the f minus g. So I didn't have to do that, you know what I mean? Well, like I did it in the interval, so where I would just take the anti-negative of f and negative of g and both of my bounds.
What is the benchmark portfolio implied by the 4-factor model? So describe excuse me, goddamn. Okay, portfolio representing $1 capital allocated between factor portfolios. Nice. Oops. Okay. So, our portfolio, when it says describe a portfolio, we can think about okay, so when we think about these factors actually before even the portfolio, some of these factors are self-financing and some of them are not self-financing. What I mean by self-financing is that you don't actually have to spend $1 in order to implement the strategy. So these 3 factors down here are all self-financing strategies because you're going short the second portion and then going long the first portion. So small minus big, you're going long small stocks, shorting big stocks. High minus low, you're shorting low book to market value stocks, and then you're going long high book to market value stocks. Up minus down, you're shorting companies that have had negative returns, and you're going long companies that have had positive returns. So all of them are self-financing. In the case of the $1, I don't think we actually need to spend the $1 here. We just allocate our portfolio accordingly based on the different coefficients. Now, the one thing that isn't self-financing is the beta. So the beta here represents the market loading, and in order to finance this position, we have to use the $1 here. We put in 0.71 of that dollar into the market portfolio, and then the other 0.29 into a risk-free asset. So I think then our benchmark portfolio is going to be five different things. 3 of these are the coefficients. 2 of these are the going to be risk-free, and then the beta. And then we also have this kind of outperformance variable here, which is our alpha. All right. Strategies here. So we have self-financing and then non-self-financing. So this is going to be our SMB, HML, UMD. We also have beta and risk-free. Centing. Factor model above.
Is your email still op.bzang?
Bzangco.
What is it?
BZHANGCO@gmail.com. Yeah.
New email.
There are. Can you use the $1 for the markets and risk-free loadings, but the other factors are all self-financing. So if we were to make a really long math equation, so this would be 0.0052 plus 0.29 becomes the RF. And we add 0.71 of the market, so call this the MKT plus 0.48 SMB plus minus 0.42 HML plus 0.12 UMD. Okay, I think this is probably the returns here. Yes, sir.
Is this something you're doing on your own time?
Huh?
This is like your own personal stuff, right?
No, this is the class.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Oh, okay, so he actually ended up splitting. And he has the expected return here. Man, this one sounds really hard. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we have the expected return, actually. Expected return of our, it calls it strategy, so strat. So he does the expected return of the market. Right, and then we actually do 0.48. Ooh. Minus 0.48.
Studying
big.
in a lecture hall.
Yo. Okay, so I'm gonna put some parentheses
I mean,
here.
yeah, shit. ESJ.
So we go plus
You leaving? Oh,
negative point.
maybe you can wait until. Maybe you can wait until 3:30.
2 up plus 0.4.
Yes, I have
0.42.
to.
Oh.
I haven't gone in like a month. This week is the last week of classes.
12 down.
Yes, you should know that too. Hmm? Bye.
Wait, what the?
Okay, bye.
Alright, why the fuck is this not?
Love you.
Okay, so we have there we go. Oop, one thing I did make a mistake. So all of these should cancel out, like negative, positive, positive, negative. Alright, there we go. Use the $1 for the market and risk reloading. Okay, that's good. Alright, I think the second question is here was what are the characteristics of the portfolio above? So example, tilt toward value stocks. Okay, so in this case we have, let's try to think here, of the from the 4 factors we can see that tilt tilt towards growth stocks over value stocks. So we have a positive SMB, we have a negative HML, and then we have tilt towards recently, I guess we could say positive momentum to negative momentum. This is going to be the positive UMD. So that's good. Let's think about the next question here. So by design, value investing is a negative feedback strategy, whereas momentum is a positive feedback strategy. Justify this claim. What is the consequence of the positive feedback momentum strategy? I see. So I think this kind of refers to the idea of destabilizing versus stabilizing trading strategies. So just to give some definition here, stabilizing strategies means that they're usually contrarian, in the sense that if stock A was to go up 10%, usually whenever you rebalance your portfolio, you're reducing your exposure by, let's say, 10%, so that you're meeting kind of the target exposure you wanted. Exposure is just a fancy way of saying allocation. So you have that, and then in a positive or a destabilizing strategy, what you do is if it goes up, then you keep going up. You keep adding to your position. Okay, so by design, value investing is a negative feedback strategy. Whereas momentum strategy is a positive feedback strategy. So A, justify this claim. B, what is the consequence of the positive strategy? Okay, so another way of saying negative feedback strategy is to say stabilizing strategy. This means that investors are contrarian to the price movements. Value investor will take advantage of any price we usually buy stocks when its price falls, so this is usually undervalued, and sell stocks when the price rises, so this is overvalued. Momentum strategies buy stocks when prices rise and sells stocks when prices fall. The consequence is a self-reinforcing upward or downward spiral. So I think a good example of this is 1978. I think there was a big stock market crash, that was a result of kind of these momentum strategies where I think at the time it was called portfolio insurance, but you insured your portfolio through the use of put options and call options, and also maybe stop loss orders. Stop loss orders is the idea where if you were to have a threshold, let's say $10, current stock is trading at 15. If the stock goes below your $10 threshold, then you immediately sell. So I think that, in a sense, kind of caused this spiraling effect where one person hit their stop loss, that causes another person to hit their stop loss, which causes another, and then it keeps going down until at some point trading halts or prices get so low that people start to buy again. 1978. Let's see what. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So this one, oh my god, this sounds really hard. Okay, let's see what we can do.
Let's see the problem.
Alright.
Following time series regression for a fixed asset. Show that the OLS estimates of B is the cumulative return and that the T statistics of B is indeed proportional to. Yeah, let me know if you need help. I emailed you the interview.
Okay, thanks. I'll take a look at my own time,
Yeah.
and I'll text you my thoughts.
Actually, just do it after this.
Okay.
I want to listen to it again too.
Alright, let me
If
see
you
what
have
time. So I got class at
2.
2. Yeah, I don't know. Because I gotta log in for this class. I'm kind of behind.
Alright, log in.
Yeah. Consider the following time series regression for a fixed asset. So we have R of T plus 1 I E. I'll watch it. Plus B.
Nah, you should probably log in.
Nah, it's okay. How long is it, the interview? I'll watch a little bit.
It's like 20 minutes.
Yeah, okay, I'll watch it. Plus epsilon. Okay, so I guess this is return for asset I, and this is proportional to so this is the signal at time B. Time T. This is a return at time T plus 1. Okay. Show that the OLS estimates of cumulative return on a long short timing strategy, and that the T statistics of indeed proportional strategies Sharpe ratio. Good, so there's really two things to think about here. If the first show, sorry, I don't know why it's showing me the solution already. I'm trying to not look. So there's two things, right? Show that the ELS estimate of B hat is the cumulative return on a long short strategy, and that the T statistic of B hat is indeed proportional to the strategy Sharpe ratio. Oh man, because I remember this question was asked us on the exam, and I got 0 points for the long short strategy thing. I'm still kind of confused, honestly. on how to explain this, but if we were to break down this problem, like I said before, you have a signal here for an acid I, and you have that signal at time t. You're trying to use that signal to predict the returns at time t plus 1. And then you also have some alpha and maybe some noise. If we were to estimate b hat, which is kind of an estimator for our parameter here, b, then I think what we need to do is run a regression, an ordinary least squares regression, with a time lag of 1. Okay, let me just think about this. So in an ordinary least squares regression, right, how do we estimate b? Well, we have to minimize the sum of squared residuals, which is you take your return at t plus 1. So let's try writing this out. So we have r t plus 1, and then, right, I guess this is the x's return. So this is the x's return.
2x. Yeah.
And then we have minus hats a plus hat b, and then it'll be st, then I, plus epsilon t plus 1 raises to the I. Okay, so this is kind of our estimate here. I actually do this. Oops. Call this hats. There we go. So we are hat. And we want to square this, right? And then what we really want to do also is the sum of t is equal to 1 and to t.
Okay, so first, they make it y equals, and they substitute that into.
I guess t is equal to 0. Okay. And we want to minimize this. So, for a quick reminder, ordinary least squares regression tries to minimize the sum of squared residuals for between our estimates and actual ground truth. Mathematically, this becomes... Okay, so we want to minimize the sum of these squared residuals between the actual and then also the predicted. The predicted value, oops, production estimated can be is composed of the following elements. Okay, so that's good. So we can show that this is the prediction, and the prediction is actually composed of, so we have an alpha estimator, a beta estimator, and then the actual signal here. Placing the OLS regression then becomes right.
Wait, what's your question? 18. Wait, I'm sorry. Is this something you were asking me to help out?
Hmm.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Summation?
Summation. Kind of stuck though. I don't know really where to go from here. Okay, so this is an interesting form to express our problem, right?
Oh my god. What even is this? That's absurd.
Yeah.
It's literally just symbols.
I mean, that's what I've found out about math. All it is symbols.
It's just, they're all representations of something else.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
they're-
easy. No, it's not. What the heck? My friend at DeepMind showed me some of the stuff that he works with. It's like actually just, it's actually like a foreign language.
It's
ridiculous.
hieroglyphics.
Yeah. It's like, I've never seen some of the symbols that he works with. Makes no sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Does this have to do with like probability and stuff?
More so statistics, but kind of, yeah.
Jesus.
Just minimize the sum of square residuals between our estimates. Okay, I'm not entirely sure if this is the right way to represent this because I feel like maybe we want to do an argmin. Hmm. Slash argmin. I'm surprised it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why, but there should be argmin right here. Right, I don't even think so. Plus b. Fuck.
Damn, I needed 80 to 200.
Okay, well, actually, if we're making a prediction, I think we need this, so.
Or, yeah, no, that's like a 2%. If you voted the canvas, how much you're gonna cost right now? Oh, but you have a 75. Or, no, I plugged it in, I need to get like.
I feel like maybe.
Oh my god.
you want some water?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
You get the 65 or 11 costs.
I'm just dying.
Oh, it's 65.
Right, so we try to minimize this whole summation by choosing the right beta.
I'm at a 75 right now, and I plugged it into Canvas. She hasn't put in XY yet, and she hasn't put in
Maybe also by choosing the right alpha too.
I have to get like at least like an 80 on the final to pass 67. So like yeah, so I could probably manage to get like a 75.
Right, so we have to estimate A and B.
I have most of it done.
Ah, man, so
Not all of it done though. I like 4. Okay. Also, I talked to somebody.
if we want to minimize this, right, the way we do it is we find the derivative of this function, and then
Yeah, what Funko Pops. And like I said, one of my friends said Harry Potter, and it's right. Or like just go to, I'm literally gonna go to All Stars Wednesday to get our Funko Pops. Oh, we could. I literally go to
okay, so to find the optimal at A and at B, we need can find the derivative and find the critical points. Man, what does this say?
Okay. Wait, you can just send the screenshot of that.
What the hell? So they're saying the beta is equal to the sum of xti times ri t plus 1. So this is iterating through every single signal return. So SI is equal to, right? So this is a sample average signal return. We iterate through all of the signal returns themselves. I feel like this has to go. This is related to the idea of the beta from our exam. Okay, so why is the assets? Yeah, I have to. Let's see if ChatGPT knows. Oh shit. Okay, so we are going in the right direction with minimizing S with respect to beta. Epsilon.
Stack Exchange.
Stack Exchange. Okay, I think after this, I'll take a look at your video. Interesting. So why? Oh, this is actually kind of mind-blowing. So this is the centering portion. No, go use the bathroom real quick. Come, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Let me see what this thing is. Interview with the mind guy.
All right.
Oh, you watching it?
Welcome. What is your name?
Hey, my name is Robert.
Robert.
And what do you do for a living?
I work as a research engineer at
job. It's more about like the ethical implications of AI and stuff.
Alright, let's take a look what
DeepMind.
he has to say about
All
the
right, that's awesome.
applications.
All right. I got a few questions for you. Are you going to be okay with answering them?
Also, This audio is really crisp.
I have a good mic.
Yeah, this is.
Depends the
beautiful.
question.
All right, just tell me if you can't. All right, here's the first question. How do you personally perceive the ethical implications of the AI technologies you work on?
Do you hear that question?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I think so.
it's an important question. We take
The ethical implications.
a lot of consideration into how this affects different groups of like within society. A lot of things are built from first principle, trying to focus on like the ethos of like the company, which is to like build things responsibly. But what that usually means is we're not just taking any data to train on without like user consent. We're being very careful about it. We're being very careful about what models we put out to the world and who can use them and how they're used. And the safety behind those is like number one. So like one example is when we put out our like recent image generation model, we have another model that watermarks it and it's invisible to see, but basically it's any image that gets generated by this model, you can identify that it was AI generated using a different model.
You know, do you guys ever talk about like where they get their images from? Just
The way they get their images.
or just any of their training data?
I don't have any of their training data, of course.
Well, do you guys talk about that, like where they get it from?
I guess they have reference photos, but off the reference photos, they're able to train the AIs to like build anything.
Do they just get it from Google Images or something?
I honestly don't know. It's probably stock images from Google,
Interesting.
And even
You
if
know
the
how AI
image
works?
is like edited or
like generative AI.
I know there's a few different architectures we've been learning about. There's a lot of different ways you could do it.
Yeah.
I only know the high levels of. Have you heard of transformers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and then also the general adversarial networks. Those are the two ones that we learned about in class.
Pretty
But
crazy.
yeah,
It's pretty ridiculous.
I don't know the math behind it. The
It's
math
all
behind
it's
it.
all math, bro. It's all numbers, which is kind of insane.
you
Let's
take
see
a
what
picture
else
of the
we have
image
there.
or you do any transforms on it, we can always make sure that like we can identify it as AI generated.
All right, thank you. All
Nice.
right, what's next here? Can you personally share any experiences outside of your job where AI has directly influenced your daily routines or decision-making process?
Okay.
It paused.
Pause.
It's at 2:07. Uh-oh.
Am I gonna have to pay more to get the next 30 minutes of the? So this is all in audio? Is there like a video portion?
I had a video, but I just converted it to an audio.
All right. Welcome.
All
Could
right.
be anything.
Yeah, I mean I use a lot of these models to like plan vacations.
Oh.
It's quite useful. Actually, it's low-key a hack. I think sometimes searching for like through like a bunch of Reddits or like YouTube to try and figure out like what you should be doing in a city you don't know. Oftentimes I'm on TikTok, but these models do like a pretty good job of like building like a rough itinerary of like what I should do, and then I can like fine tune that list afterwards if I want.
I see. Is there any other like example of this, or is that really kind of it? Just kind of making life easier.
Yeah, I think it speeds up some things. Like you're always gonna have to validate what these models put out generally, so that's always like
Yeah,
somewhat
that's fine,
tricky.
that's fine.
But for like as long as
It's
you're
just
not
nice to
asking
hear
something
your
like
thoughts.
too niche,
Nice to hear the
then
researcher.
I think it's like a safe bet.
This is the
I
side
tend to
you're
think of it
podcasting
like
through.
if it's something that you're willing to like ask a stranger and just kind of like assume is correct, take it with like a grain of salt, right? But for the things that aren't risky, like I'm planning a vacation, that's fine. I guess like when I code outside of work too, like a lot of tools that speed up my like dev process, those are like really useful. Yeah,
All right. Thank you. All right, let's see.
My friend
What
joined and
sparked
started talking
your
on
interest
this part, bro, and I had to go
initially
mute him.
in AI research,
Listen.
and how has
Is
your
that a
perception?
flare I see?
Excuse me. What sparked your interest in AI research, and how has your perception of AI evolved over time?
I think I've been interested in it for a while now. Oh God, I think the probably earliest examples is like back when I was a kid playing video games, and you had like AI for like some of the NPCs, but it was like super basic. And then obviously like science fiction in terms of like, can we build something that can like benefit society? So like when we build AGI, can we do it in a way that's like responsible, and like can it help us discover new drugs that can cure like new cancers and new diseases? Can it help us like discover new mathematics and like science fiction, help us build like these like all these crazy ideas from like science fiction? And I think that was probably like the inspiration behind it. I've been like drawn to it from that. What was the second part of the question?
And how has your perception of AI evolved over time?
How has your
Yeah, I think we're in a really interesting time right now. I think back when I started, even like early on in like high school through college, etc., and then like getting a job, things were pretty slow and like pretty small scale. I think within the last like maybe 2 years now, 2-3 years, everything's like accelerated like crazy. So my perception has changed in terms of like I didn't think we would get here this fast, and I also didn't think like I guess like my 5-year timeline 1 year ago has shrunk down to like a 1 year timeline in terms of like how fast I think things are evolving. Yeah, so I think on a daily basis I'm like constantly reminded that things are moving way faster than what I perceive or like what I imagined.
I see. All right. In your opinion,
you have to-
what are the most significant
Did you
ways
ever see
AI
questions?
has transformed the field of
Like, did you have a
engineering
set
and
plan
research?
question set to
I
ask?
did, but I actually edited them.
Yeah, I
as
think
was doing the interview.
a really
to what
cool
made sense
example
based on his reviews
is
or answers.
AlphaFold, which is basically like using ML to do protein folding to speed up the discovery of proteins for scientists. And I thought that was like something like discovering new proteins can take like researchers like maybe you can discover a couple every year. And don't quote me on that. I think it's just like it's a very slow process. But with like the use of AI, you can generate like millions that are probably valid. So you can skip the whole like the first part and just start testing these. So I thought that was super cool and super transformative. And then other technologies in terms of like using AI for like code generation. I think code is making it easier for everyone to
Oh yeah.
learn to code and make it accessible for people. I think that's super important.
Yes, absolutely. I can agree with that one. All right. Let's see. Have you ever personally encountered any challenges or obstacles in your work that are related to ethical considerations or like biases in AI algorithms?
Yeah, I think we touch on this a lot, right? And I think especially given like my line of work for like image and video generation, I think there's always a bias in terms of like the images online that you get are obviously going to have very strong biases in terms of like, for example, if I ask for like a CEO, you're probably not going to get a well diversified representation of all like genders, races, etc., age groups as a CEO. So we're kind of dealing with these biases on a daily basis and trying to figure out like what is a responsible way to kind of like mitigate things, as well as to kind of like align the model in, again, like what we think is a responsible way without kind of going against what the user wants. Because I think, it's very easy to I think basically like it's very easy to tune the model one way, but that might not necessarily be what users want. So I think finding a balance between, you know, when you put a model out in the world, you're kind of like putting out your own biases into that world through that model, and you're kind of making a statement in terms of like your beliefs and like how you think the model should behave. So I think finding a balance of like
It's pretty crazy.
that plus what the user wants / needs is really important.
Yep, I see. You kind of answered two questions with that one, actually. The next question was, how do you balance the potential societal benefits of AI with concerns about privacy, security, and job displacement? You kind of covered that one. So we'll move on to the next one after that.
I could talk about job displacement, I guess.
Sure, yeah, if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, I think
You know how I came
we're
up
at a
with these
really
questions?
interesting time where
ChatGPT.
obviously
They're good
the
questions.
the advancement of like some AI technologies will, you know, make some positions obsolete. And I think from like my personal point of view, I don't necessarily think like there's any way around that. If we look back in history through like the agricultural and the industrial revolutions, we saw like displacement of like specific jobs in order to like make line for like new emerging technologies. And I think ultimately in the short term it was painful, but overall like the longer span of like society, it was beneficial. And I think it's very easy to think in like the short term that, you know, it's quite difficult, but in the long term, I think it's a net benefit. And I think it's also important to think about, you know, we don't just release models that can just make people obsolete, but how do we release them responsibly in a way where we can transition that rather than making it like a steep cutoff, right? So like you don't want to release something and it just puts like hundreds of thousands of people out of work the next day. I think giving people time to adjust, or giving society time to adjust, lawmakers time to adjust,
cool.
working with
Pretty cool.
like we work with the White House, we work with like the government to, you know, make sure they're aware of like these new and emerging technologies that we build, so that they can like the appropriate people can make the changes that are necessary gradually, so that we don't displace too many people at once, rather make it like responsible and a smooth transition.
All right. Cool. Thank you very much. Can you give any examples of any like personal projects or initiatives that you're passionate about that you've done on your own in your own time that are in the realm of AI research and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've done a lot in terms of like, I was like super passionate about like video games, so I built like a real-time rendering engine, so that uses like AI to like upsample and super res things. So it's very similar to DLSS. So when you play a game, like a AAA game or whatever on your PC, NVIDIA is actually like using models to they're not rendering everything in like 4K. That would be too slow. So they'll like render things in like much lower resolution and lower sampling, and then they will use like these models that have been pre-trained to like super res them and scale them up to 4K.
Yeah.
And so I've done stuff like that. And then I think it's really important to kind of like work on like the natural sciences, especially with AI. So things like biology or like RNN sequencing and stuff like that I've also been really interested in and trying to work on. Kind of just how do we use these models outside of, you know, the standard, like, oh, it can make an image or it can, you know, write code or write text, but can we use these same capabilities to like, can we build a cure for something, or can we like advance like our understanding of medicine faster? So I think those things are like big passions of mine.
Interesting. Very cool. All right. Could you just give me a quick brief run through of basically what your daily job consists of? So if you were, do you work remote?
No.
All right. So when you go into the office, what's like your kind of like your daily routine from like the time you wake up until the time you go to sleep? You know what I mean? Just quick.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
like a brief run through.
Yeah, I wake up at like
No, they don't talk though. It's okay.
I wake up at like 6 a.m. ish, and then I'll head to the office. I'll usually be there around 8 or a little bit before. I'll get some work in. Usually, I'm working with people who are in London or different parts of the world, like Tel Aviv or like Korea. So I'm catching up on things while I was asleep, and I'm responding.
He's in,
I try and get some coding done in the morning. These days, I have a lot of meetings. It's quite busy, so I'll have meetings, I guess, basically up until lunch. And then after lunch, I will try and find a quiet place to code. But oftentimes I'm working on a couple projects, so I have to still have more meetings. But I'll try and sit down and I'll code until like maybe 6:30, and then I'll go home at 6:30. I'll make food, and then I'll come and keep working until like 11 or midnight, and then I'll go to bed and I'll do it again.
Damn.
That's crazy.
very busy.
They're just
Oh my
wasting
gosh.
entire
Yeah.
day. Like,
Wait, so is this on a weekend then, or when you had the interview?
yeah, I interviewed him on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, do you guys usually talk during the weekdays?
He used to be online a lot, but now he doesn't. He doesn't have time. Like,
You just work.
he's
on it.
always working.
Damn.
It's crazy. But he makes a good like.
Yeah, I think
Alright.
300
these days
a
it's
year.
it's difficult to not be busy given like the speed of everything.
Uh-oh.
No.
Model, you can identify that it was AI generated using a different model. Yeah, I think
Alright.
these days it's it's difficult to not be busy given like the speed of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Busy.
gosh. That's a busy schedule.
He works from
All right.
6 to.
Do you
to
have
12.
any
Yeah.
like glaring negative are there any glaring negative impacts of AI on your personal life? Or like what's the closest thing to a negative that AI has done for you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean I'm quite fortunate to be in a position where the like I don't think I'm going to be like my job isn't going to be displaced at the moment. But you know, I think so I guess like I have first world problems compared to with AI compared to like other people.
Yeah.
But I think that like it's really cumbersome when you're like trying to consume things or like content online and it's all AI generated. So I think
Oh,
like
yeah.
you see this a lot where like some like image searches are going to be AI generated, or like some like Reddit posts, or like some like news articles become AI generated, or like you're on Twitter and then like, you know, is the person responding to me a bot? Yeah, so I think it's become like slightly indistinguishable, and I think that's going to be a bit of a problem in the next years.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that one. All right. This is the last question here. Looking ahead, what do you envision as the most promising applications of AI in the near future? And what, on top of that, what ethical considerations do they entail?
Oh, there's so many. I think that I'm really excited for video games with AI. So if we can generate like really realistic videos, right? But you can do it fast enough so that like you're kind of like generating them in real time, and you can kind of like control how you're like walking through the video, if that makes sense. So it almost becomes like an immersive video game. So it's like you're generating every frame by frame of a video, but you can kind of like control it with like a joystick or something.
That's cool.
And I think
I don't
like
even
you
know
can
what
like
that
walk
is.
around basically in the area as you're generating
World.
the terrain or the video.
Sure.
And you could like interact with things. I think that's super cool. Yeah, I think that's what I'm mostly looking forward to.
For sure. And what do you think about the what ethical considerations do you think that entails?
Yeah, I think that obviously, and when we talk about generative AI, we have to be, very considerate about, what are we using to train, and so how are we sourcing that data, and making sure that we're sourcing it ethically. So we're not just like pulling like random YouTube videos that from creators that have not explicitly given permission to use them, right? So, or like video game titles that don't necessarily belong to us. So I think doing things and sourcing data is probably like the biggest ethical question right now, across like a lot of AI companies. And it's kind of like not really talked about too much. I think most of the ethics is focused on like the outcome and the result and how the model is used, which is, I think, still important. But a lot of people kind of skim past the idea of like, are you ethically sourcing your data? Or are you just like taking it without consent and just training on it?
I see, I see. All right, well, that'll be all. Thank you very much, Mr. Robert. That was very interesting, very informative. And that'll do it. Do you have any final thoughts for the interview? Anything you want to get out there into the world?
Nothing really. I mean, I think going back to your question of like another thing that I'm excited for, I think robots. I think having like robots would be pretty cool. So like just having like robots around your house that you could be like, oh, pick up my mail for me, or like make me dinner.
Kind of like a
I don't
Roomba,
think-
right?
Yeah, kind of like a super powered AI Roomba.
I see.
I don't think we're too far off. I think maybe within the next 5 years for sure.
I see. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Thank you very much. That'll be it.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks.
That's it.
That's kind of crazy that 5 years we'll have a robot,
Well, that's what he thinks.
NVIDIA bot. This thing will be in our house.
That'd be creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want that.
There's also robots. Well, I guess this already exists.
They're not like AI. They're just like, or they are kind of AI, but they're not programmed to like function on their own.
Yeah, this
That's
looks really
creepy
scary.
as hell, bro.
That is really scary.
Have you heard of Rocco's Basilisk?
No, what is that?
Search it up.
What do I have to do?
Rocco's Basilisk.
I have no idea how you spell that.
Rocco. That. It's a thought experiment.
What does that mean?
Just read it. Read about it.
So it's a thought experiment. A hypothetical situation. Okay. Then otherwise artificial super intelligence would be incentivized to create a virtual reality sim. Oh my god. In the future would be incentivized to create a virtual reality simulation to torture anyone who knew its potential existence but did not directly contribute to its advancement or development, or in order to incentivize said advancement.
So you know what that means? It's like
Not really.
if you learn about this AI and it comes to be, it will find a way to hurt you because you didn't directly like do anything to like advance it. Like, you know what I mean? So me telling you about it, I like kind of like put you in danger, low key,
Okay.
because now you know about Rocco's Basilisk, but you're not gonna take any initiatives to like bring this super AI into existence.
I see.
So now you're in danger because if it comes to life, then it knows that you didn't actively seek to.
Alright, well,
Bring it
thanks
to
for
existence.
ending my life.
Yeah, so you're fucked. Everybody's fucked.
What the hell is Pascal's wager? Less wrong. Community blog and forum.
Okay. I don't know what this is.
right, what should I? Concepts? Let's see.
Yeah.
Theory. What the hell?
What is this?
I've never heard of any of these.
Hansonian pre-rationality. Click on Occam's razor.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. What is it? Simple things. Oh, the simpler ones are preferable.
What the fuck? I don't even know what this means.
A and B is necessarily less or equal to. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's like if you flip a coin, right?
Uh-huh.
What's the probability that you get heads and tails?
0.
Yeah, and that's always less than just the probability of getting heads. So
Oh, okay. Okay. And what does that have to do with Occam's razor?
I don't know.
Minimum description length?
Oh, every detail you tack onto your story drives the probability down. I guess in order to keep the probability of your story being true, you just make it as simple as possible.
Okay.
Uh,
It's gotta be more complicated than that. Touchscreen?
No, Solomon's lightsaber. Solomon's lightsaber.
These are just like theoretical,
Yeah.
hypothetical,
Wait, so
hypotheticals, right?
what even happens here? Oh, I guess people just make blog posts. Is that what happens?
Ideations?
And then people comment, kind of like
Dys-
Reddit.
Dystopian ideation?
All right, maybe I'll take a look at some of this stuff.
What is this? Search up Rocco. Uh-oh. Believing in Rocco's basilisk may be simply a referendum on autism.
What does that mean?
I don't know. What does that mean?
I guess is Rocco this person who ended up posting it?
I have no idea who Rocco is. To be
Yeah,
honest.
Rocco.
Why has there never been a political Rocco's basilisk? A bill or law that promises to punish any member of parliament who voted against it. You gotta think. Why?
All right, it's 1:37. I'll go in like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else is in here that's interesting?
I don't know. It seems pretty interesting to me. What is this? Damn, that's actually pretty cool.
What does Bayes' theorem have to do with this?
Hmm?
Bayes' theorem?
Where?
I saw on the Wikipedia thing. It was like one suggestion is the use of Bayes' theorems as a decision.
As a decision-making tool. The probability of an event based on prior knowledge of conditions that might be related to the event. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess. Wow. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, your stomach has been going through it this past 30 minutes.
Yeah, it has.
All right, well, thanks for tuning into the stream, by the way. 0 chat, 0 views, 0 concurrent.
Oh, what? You've been streaming this whole time?
Yep.
Do you post it?
If I end stream, it goes directly to it.
How?
I think this is like the 100th stream, like 100 plus.
Really?
Yeah. I'm gonna stop real quick.